Hello, Team 6C. It's Mrs. Houck here again for math. What you are seeing in front of your screen was the homework that I actually had assigned from Tuesday. You were supposed to look at your math book, page S8. If you notice, we are in lesson 2. You might want to just go ahead and leave your math book open every day so that way you're always on the right page. You should see this thermometer right over here. Those of you that are quickly writing down your answers off the screen, let's go ahead and look at it to make sure you all understand what we're doing. If you recall, one of the things we talked about was the word integer, and we found out that an integer is a number. It can be a positive or a negative number. If we notice the first story, it says a gain of 56 points. That's why a gain is positive, so we put a positive 56. The next one says a fee charged of $2. Well, if I'm going to be charged money, that's going to be a negative. I'm losing money. C says a temperature of 32 degrees below zero. My hint word right here, below, makes me know it's a negative. Letter D says a 56-yard loss. There's my hint word right there, loss. Loss means I'm going to have a negative number. The freezing point of water in degrees in Celsius is 0. If you've been paying attention to the videos, one of the times I talked about 0 cannot be positive or negative. It's the midpoint of our number line where the positive and negative numbers separate. F says a 12,500 deposit. Deposit, that's my key word there. Deposit is when I'm adding something, so it's a positive number. Okay. If you need to change any of your numbers, you may do that. We're going to move down here to problem C. For problem 2. Number 2 says each sentence is stated incorrectly. If you were listening in the video, I said that you could either rewrite the sentences as the directions said, or my oral directions were, or find out what you could change in this sentence to make it true. Let's look at the first one. It says the temperature is negative 10 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. Well, I already know it's negative 10 because there's a negative here, but now I'm saying below, so I'm doing a double negative, which I don't need to do. So I need to get rid of one of those. The easiest thing for me would probably be to go ahead and just cross this one out. So now my sentence would say the temperature is 10 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. Let's look at the next one. I have the double negative again, and I don't need a double negative. I have to decide which one I want to get rid of. This time, let's try and do the other one. So it says here the temperature is negative 22 degrees Celsius. I already know it's below zero because it's a negative, so I can actually cross this out. And now I have both of those statements correct. Problem number 3 I asked you to do. I actually had marked A for you already. It said mark the integer on the thermometer that corresponds to these temperatures. 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's my Fahrenheit. Here was the 70. I think we put a mark here and we labeled it A. B says 12 degrees Celsius. Go to my Celsius. Here's 0. Go up to 12. It looks like if I'm counting by 2s, 12 is going to be right here. 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's my Fahrenheit. I'm going to go start down here at 0, and I'm going to go all the way up here to 110. Mark that C. The last one is negative 4 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go start at 0 again. Remember, we always start at 0. And I'm going to go down to negative 4, which is going to be right there. And I'm going to label that D. The last one I asked you to look at was problem number 4. And it says the boiling point of water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Can this thermometer be used to record the temperature of a boiling pot of water? Explain. Let's see. Here's my Fahrenheit. If I start here at 0, and if I have to go to 212, it's not there. So could I use this thermometer? The answer you should have put on your paper was the answer no. And the reason why is because my thermometer doesn't go all the way up to 200s. It stops at 120. Okay? All right. Real quick, I'd like to do a little review before I have you work on your Google form. So I'm going to show you a little scenario here with 2 integers. Remember, integers are numbers. It says one student earned 15 minutes of extra recess. There's one of my integers. The other one says another student lost 6 minutes. There's another integer. Let's be very careful and see what the question asks, though. The question says, how would you represent the 6 minutes lost with an integer? So I don't need both of the numbers. I just need the one that's asked, and it says the 6 minutes that are lost. So I'm going to say that would be a -6. In my story, what does 0 represent in my story? Well, I can't say that 0 represents $0 or money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about minutes. So for me, what does 0 represent in this story? 0 would mean that the student received no extra minutes of recess, or we could say that the student didn't lose any minutes of recess. Okay? All right. Another review is, let's look at a number line here, and the number line I'm using is that horizontal or vertical? This would be considered a vertical number line. I have 0 right here. Positive numbers. Do positive numbers go above the 0 or below? You are correct. Positive numbers go above. So these would be my positives. And obviously negatives go below. Do you know what my first tick mark would be? My first tick mark would be a -1, -2, and so forth. Okay. One of the things I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to look at a number line, and I'm going to ask you to tell me what represents something. So for example, if I called this A, this B, this C, and I would say which one of these represents -3, you're going to tell me C represents -3. One of the things, or the thing I'd like for you to do as soon as you're finished with this, is you will notice I sent you a Google form. I'd like for you to go ahead and fill that out and send that. And then make sure you also have completed your extra math for the day. And that's all the math we're going to do for today.